So I've been having this idea. I wanted to do like a whole sit down in front of a mic and talk about this, but I figured I might as well talk about it now because the atmosphere is kind of here. It's raining. You can kind of hear the little pitter patter of raindrops on the trees. I'm not sure if this microphone will pick it up, but you can kind of hear it. It's a little dirty, like, but it's not that bad because like generally the leaves will stop most of the water. I mean, it's not even raining that hard. It's just drizzling. I slept like 4 hours, if that, because it was just like interrupted sleep constantly because I was just waking up all the time. Because like I'm the lightest sleeper in the world, and if it's not pitch dark, like pitch black and absolutely silent, I can't sleep. So like I'll wake up at any moment for any reason. And it was like the worst sleep possible. I have bags under my eyes. I've had that for like 3 or 4 years because I haven't had a good night's sleep basically. Like the amount of times I've had a good night's sleep in the past 5 years can be counted on like maybe one hand, probably within two. But uh, that's just me being me just like ruining my body for no reason because having irregular sleep schedules and like not doing anything throughout the day, mostly just sitting on my ass. Though recently, uh, coming out and walking around in the forest or whatever, I guess kind of counts as some sort of activity. Not that much, but it is something. I'm just walking here. I had this little idea. I don't know how long it will take to describe. It might be really short, but I just figured um, it might be interesting, especially just mostly for aesthetic purposes because it's raining out. We could do a rain walk kind of, even though it's not raining in here. But like a lot of the stories I have been telling, they all come from 2017. Almost all of them. Like every story, every major point of my life and like my turning points and everything, it's all back to the same year. And I hate to sound like a broken record sometimes because I will listen back to some of these things and like think about what I'm saying. And a lot of these stories are really old, comparatively. Like it's kind of weird to say like 2017 is old, but like a lot of other people that like interesting things happen to them. But like me, like a lot of the things that I've had have been mostly set in stone since 2017. Some things have obviously changed, but I've already talked about basically everything there is to say about those recent changes, probably, for the most part. Like, like after 2017, the only thing that really happened is a lot of the things that I was set up for, like I set in motion, and they actually happened. So like I was reclusive and I wanted to be hikikomori, became a hikikomori. Had like random acquaintances I didn't want to be with, so became a person who had no friends. I was a person who was constantly failing at romance, decided to give up on romance once and for all. Like these kind of things, like it was just the ideas that I've had all come from 2017. So like there's not really much else interesting to say. And like I was just thinking that maybe I died in 2017. Not literally, but like symbolically, I something about me died in that year because that's probably the last year I quote unquote lived. Like I had this thing back in like 2018 or 2019ish, early 2019 probably, or late 2018 I think, where I was like, all I was doing was like laying on the floor most of the days. This was back in uni when we had classes in person, so I was like fucking destroyed after every single day of being out. And like I was just thinking that like I'm not living right now because I would just like be there's like so many bugs right there, but there's like so many like I would just have like the really strict schedule and I wouldn't change from it and deviate from the path because I had no reason to. All I would do every single day is like, wake up at the same time, go to the same classes, come back, eat the same food because I'm an idiot. Like I'm like that. Like I don't really care about food and I don't understand food. I've talked about this before, but I would literally eat the same thing every single day because it was really cheap. Like I would just buy white rice and like like chicken breast, and I would just eat plain white rice with chicken breast. Sometimes I would put like soy sauce on it, but I would just eat that for long stretches of time because it was fairly cheap and it did everything I needed. And then like in terms of vegetables, I would just buy like the same 2 or 3 Walmart brand frozen vegetables that you could just microwave, and that's all I ate for the most part. Like for breakfast, I wouldn't eat breakfast, and then like for my second meal or whatever, I would just usually eat like plain ass oatmeal, oatmeal made with water, because sometimes I would have milk, but since I didn't like to go out, I didn't like to go to the store. So like, and the problem with milk is that it expires quickly. So I could have oatmeal with milk, but then eventually I would just end up eating it with water again. So just eating like plain oatmeal, and then white rice with chicken, and that's like all I would eat. It was pretty base though, because I spent less than $30 on groceries per month. I probably could have gone less, but I would buy like frozen pizza and stuff. But like I was just thinking, and then like after I would eat, like I would just watch anime, and then I would be done, and that's all I would do per day. And I was like, am I really living right now? And like I didn't particularly mind my lifestyle, but I had a little chisai existential crisis, where I was like, is this what I want? Is this what, like, why am I doing this all the time? Am I really living, or am I living on autopilot? I ultimately like forgot about the whole thing, and I just went back to doing the same exact thing for a little bit, and then eventually the pandemic hit, and everybody went on lockdown, and I was like, fuck yes, time to be a hikikomori for real. And then like life just became so fun, just being inside all the time and like doing these bullshit online classes, like that I in the back of my head I knew I was still getting in debt for these classes, but like I wasn't immediately paying for them. That's a problem for the future. But like I was just happy. I was just so happy in 2020, like from like March 2020 until like May of 2020, when I was still doing like spring semester of that year. Like teachers didn't know what the fuck was going on. Half of them were like computer illiterate, and like the classes were so bullshit. Like they didn't figure out online classes for a bit. So then like the whole curriculum was just like scrapped, and we did nothing. And it was like the easiest thing in the world, and I was just like, all I was doing was like ordering onahos and watching like 10 or 12 episodes of anime per day. It was the best thing in the world. And like that was like the happiest I've been like in like years. And it kind of continued. I went home for the summer, and like it wasn't as based because like my family was home and shit, but it was still good because I was still reclusive, and they didn't make me do anything. They didn't make me work, because I just told them that like, oh, you know, like there's a lot of people who like are struggling to find work. How the hell am I going to find work? And like I didn't work, and then like fall came, and I continued to be a hikikomori again, and it was great. For a lot of other reasons, I went like completely insane in my room, but it was like the good kind of insane, the very based kind of insane. But then like that was the whole thing with that. But this is that was that's kind of my weird explanation of living versus living. That at the time I didn't feel like I was living, but when like the pandemic hit and we went on lockdown, and I was like, cool, now I can finally be a hikikomori. Because before I just had very reclusive tendencies. Like some days, like most of the time, like I would just like disappear. Because I had no Friday classes, so I would just disappear. Some days I would just like not show up to Thursday classes. Depends on the classes though. But like I would just like disappear for days and not leave my room. But then like I finally became the hiki, so I was like, cool, now I can finally do this the correct way. And that was the first time I was happy in a long time. But that was like something that had been like building tension since 2017, because since the first time I watched NHK, and even before that, there was like a lot of times over breaks and stuff I would like hole up inside and refuse to go out because I'm like, guys, I'm so done with outside. I'm so done with reality. Can you just like leave me be? It's like so exhausting, like all this stuff that like just like living is terribly exhausting sometimes. I'm not like I like to think I'm not depressed anymore. I used to be really depressed, but I like to think that I'm not, or I've gotten over it. But that's not something you really can get over, I guess. But like sometimes living is just so exhausting, and I just want to just be inside all the time. And like even though I mostly am, like those few times I have to go out to do like one thing, I'm just dead. Like I just come back and want to do nothing, and there goes my entire day. I just consider it ruined if I go out. That's that's just like I mean I'm sure that's like the same way for a lot of other people, but I just can't stand the whole going outside thing, and I just feel so exhausted mentally and physically about everything. But returning to 2017, the whole something about me died there because like a lot of my stories just continue returning there, and like these days. It's easier to talk about those times because I've never told them to anyone. But nowadays, like, I don't have any more interesting stories to tell. Like, on my day-to-day basis, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about, well, I mean, I kind of do, but some days, like, I just have nothing in my head. It's like that's why I chose that picture for the stream I did, No More Faking, which is Koichi, with the text bubble that says, not, like, I love not thinking. Because sometimes there just isn't anything in my head. And I like to just space out sometimes and just, like, do nothing. The other day I was in the car with my dad. And he was just driving. And I was just, like, sitting there looking out the window, eyes glazed over. And he always has the habit of saying, what are you thinking? Or whatever. And, like, I just look back and I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking anything right now. And like, even if I was thinking something, I'm probably not going to want to tell it to him because it's just going to be something really retarded about anime or something. And there's only so much I could tell my parents about anime before it gets weird. And it's like, why don't you talk about something else? But like a lot of times I just find myself doing nothing. There's nothing in my head. There's nothing going on up there. Like of course there probably are some thoughts passing through my head, but for the most part, like there's nothing of note because it's something will like float in and then it will just like float out, like a passing thought. It's not even worth anything. There was a lot of bugs last time I came here. I'm gonna put on this thing. The other day when I came out here in the same little woods area, I was destroyed by mosquitoes because I wore a short sleeve even though it was cold. Also, dude, this weather right now is like, it's really comfy. It's like 60 degrees and rainy in July. Usually it's like a scorching hot, and I'm enjoying it a lot. But I guess the point is I don't really have too many interesting things to say anymore, and sometimes I get hung up about that. Like, so occasionally a thought will pass through my head, but a lot of the more interesting stories that explain my, like, where I'm coming from and my worldview and my ideals all come from the same stretch of time, from like January of 2017 until like July of 2017, and sometimes to a certain extent further beyond that, because like from like August, September, October, and kind of into November, that was when I got really into Digibro After Dark again, after like not watching it for a long time. And like I just, all I would do was like I would watch an Insomnia Analysis like once a week, and like I got really into the lifestyle of that. But that was a period that really shaped who I am, and I'm not sure if like other people have like a period of time like that. Maybe it's fairly normal, but like everything from the type of music I listen to, for the most part, like I continue to return back to that time, and like the type of games I played, largely like the type of anime I was enjoying. I remember that very fondly. The type of humor I had, the sites I would go on. I really haven't done anything after that. Like after that, all I do is watch anime now. That 2017 was essentially like I was really into like 4chan. I was really hard into R9K. But then after some time, like after like shortly after that, that period in 2017, like I really stopped using it in 2018. So a lot of the humor I find in like the whole 4chan culture and like a lot of the R9K memes, I still like will sometimes work their way into my speech. Like it's just all from that one era. And like that was also the last year I used Discord. I think like I think it's like and like also with music. I was gonna say something, but I also want to say music because I got really into Osu when I went to uni in like August and September. Like I would just stay up all night and play Osu. Like I've always liked rhythm games. I'm terrible at them because I have no reaction speed. Because I'm just dumb. But like I would play Osu, but like I was terrible at it. But my favorite thing about it was the music, and Osu was terribly influential on my music tastes. Like I probably have to make a whole video or write a blog about this because like that's how I got into gore shit. That's how I got into foreground eclipse and like Toho metal. That's how I got into like T Pazlite and J-core and like happy hardcore and stuff. And like I started listening to nightcore for the first time seriously and got into that. Like a lot of the things I would listen to on Osu were like very largely influential on the type of music I got into and I still listen to these days. Because prior to that, I listened to like pop punk and metalcore and post-hardcore and whatever. I was like like a new metal. I was like a total edgelord in high school. To a certain extent, I still am, but I guess like my interest in music can all be tied back to this one little game. But oh, crap, I forgot what I was gonna say after that. Like I was gonna get on a ramble, but then I got sidetracked and talked about music. But what was I gonna talk about? I was talking about before. My train of thought has left the station, and I don't even know. I was talking about music, and then before that I was talking about yeah, like websites and stuff. Like I guess that's like the last time I actually like I was really into the internet for the first time because like I had a lot of time for the first time in my life after I was like I gave up basically on my advanced placement classes, and I stopped doing a sport. There's a deer over there. Hey buddy, I'm not a threat. I'm gonna walk this way, okay? I'm wearing a red hoodie. I'm not sure if that's bad. But last time I ran into a deer here, it's probably the same mom deer. But I'm just a friendly hikikomori. A friendly otaku boy is out here. Not a threat. But everything's a threat to me. So, like, I had a lot of time and I would just like be using the internet for the first time. So a lot of the things I was just way more into using the internet. And as time has gone on, I just kind of like gave up on the internet. This is a subject for another day, but I like the whole fact that like I don't use image boards anymore. Basically, I really don't use the internet outside of YouTube. Like I kind of gave up on that because it's kind of like a time wasting thing. But the negative consequence of that is like I'm not finding too many interesting things like I used to. I used to be really into the whole internet culture, and I felt like, well, vicariously feeling like you're part of a community or something. But I don't feel that anymore because I don't participate anymore. Like I used to use Discord, don't use that anymore. Used to use image boards, don't use that anymore. Used to use Reddit, don't use that anymore. Like I kind of use Twitter, I don't use that anymore. So like, and then I don't really go out and online and find things anymore because all I'm doing is watching anime, which I find more interesting. But then at the same time, like when it comes to talking about things, most of the things I would just end up returning back to are things that I found interesting in 2017 because that was the last year I was finding things online, or like at least actively trying to find them. and then or whatever anime I'm watching, which I don't really have too many interesting things to say about anime all the time, despite what it might seem on my blog. Maybe I do, but a lot of the things that I have to say I just think are really dumb, so I just scrap them. I write them in a document and then I just scrap them because I have nothing interesting to say. Oh, it's kind of coming down now. I'm not sure heavily or not. I'm gonna start heading out because I've been out here for a while, but like I said, I kind of get hung up on this sometimes because I have nothing interesting to say about some things. Gonna go back through here. Actually, should I go out through here or should I go out the other way? I'm gonna go out the other way, but I'm not gonna film it because it'll show like the street and stuff. But I'll try to wrap things up here. But like I said, died in 2017. Rambly vlog about that. I'm sure that I had more things to say about that, but like generally speaking, like a lot of the things I continue talking about 2017 because that was the most important year of my life, at least the one I feel, and it was largely influential on the person I became today. And it was like the first time in my life that I kind of became happy because 2018, the tail end of that, like I was really, really depressed and I was really stressed out from high school and I wanted nothing to do with that. But then once 2017 rolled around, like in the very beginning, like I stopped talking to people. I started listening to the Procrastinators podcast. I was listening to classic episodes like Never Going Outside and Hygiene and Internet Upbringings. And I would listen to that walking home in the snow, like as the sun was setting, like on the horizon. It was like the comfiest thing ever. And like I would just like would stop doing my homework and would be watching YouTube and watching anime and stuff and talking to people on Discord. That was like the first time in my life that I felt that I had something interesting to do that wasn't just directly related to school. And I started to indulge more in these things. But then after that, after this whole period, I had like this whole like weird arc where like I stopped using the internet. The things that once brought me a lot of joy, I stopped doing, and for different reasons, mostly dumb ideology reasons that I kind of still believe in. But after that, all I do these days is watch anime. Now I make YouTube videos occasionally by pointing the camera and talking about something dumb. But I just fully decided to commit to being an otaku and watching as much anime as possible, making that my goal to just watch as much anime I find interesting as possible, especially the shows that other people won't watch and things people will forget about, like these weird mid-2000s harem anime, especially those based off 18+ erotic games, but they have like an all-ages anime version. That's going to be a video for another day, actually. I'm going to talk about... Actually, this is so overgrown. I'm not going to walk this way. But a video for another day. I have a goal to watch every single anime based off an erotic game ever. I'm probably like halfway at this point. But it's totally feasible. That's the goal. I also want to watch every anime from the year I was born in. Which is cool. Like I watched like a few and I'm like, crap, these are all from the same year I was born. So I'm gonna watch all of those too. Because I just think it's an interesting goal, and like this is the kind of thing that most people won't do. Most people won't go out of their way to like watch all this anime. A lot of people watch it casually or just whatever they hear is good, as opposed to what they actually might want to watch. Or like, instead of forcing themselves to watch something weird, they'll just watch something that they hear is good. Because they don't have that much time, and I have a lot of time. There's a little deer I'm gonna quickly stroll through. Like, I don't, like the last vlog, P is for paranoia. Like, I kind of just don't want to, disturb nature. I just want to go through because I hate it when people disturb me, so I especially don't want to disturb living things. That's the I forgot what it was in Japanese. It's like awaremono or something like that. It's like a tag on AnyDB on like Mushishi, but it's like awareness of nature and being like one with nature kind of thing. It's a weird Zen thing, which is kind of unusual to hear coming from like a person who has been a hikikomori for a prolonged period of time. But it's not just like nature in general. It's just the fact that I don't like to disturb things. Like, just let them do what they're doing, because that's what I want to do ultimately. Just want to be left alone. So I'm not gonna be a hypocrite and disturb other things when I don't need to. But yeah, gonna head back home. I think the rain has generally stopped. Back on the paved path, kind of paved. It's kind of like gravelly, or kind of. But gonna head back home, take a shower. I haven't showered in like a week. That's another thing. So I feel kind of disgusting. Gonna head back home. Take a shower, like I said. Gonna catch up on a lot of things that I wasn't able to do yesterday because I was out. I have like a video that I recorded that was really dumb. I think I mentioned before. That one's gonna be put out. It's all edited. I just haven't made a thumbnail for it because I got lazy last night. I'm gonna watch some more anime. I gotta finally finish up watching Code Geass because it's taking a long time. There's a bug on my screen. Get off. It just landed on my screen and didn't move. And like I hit it and it didn't move either. That bug just gave up. It's kind of rainy. I'm like 90% sure my phone is waterproof, but we'll find out. But I'm gonna head back, finish up watching Code Geass finally. I was watching it for some other online thing, and like I hadn't seen it forever, and I totally forgot about it. Like I remember like 2 things from the show, and I wanted to like rewatch it to remember it. But I'm about to go into like a whole ramble about Code Geass, but there's no point in doing that. I'm wrapping things up right now. I'm gonna put on this mask thing. Now you definitely won't hear me because my voice doesn't carry at all. But it's raining. It's raining now, for real. So finish up watching that. Pick what to watch next. I want to kind of watch Sketchbook Full Colors because it looks pretty interesting and comfy. So I'll do that. Most likely. And catch up on some YouTube and stuff. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to edit my next video. So that's gonna happen. The one I've been talking about a lot. It's gonna be really great. Hopefully. So that's basically the plan. It's cloudy. It's rainy. People are gonna eventually be out of the house because some people in my family work today. So I'm gonna have some free time actually to just hopefully be alone, but at least to enjoy a cozy day that's rainy and cloudy and the stupid sun isn't out. That's it. Man, after I finished recording that, I exited the woods. It started coming down pretty hard, and I didn't want to get caught in the rain. So I decided, like, fuck it, dude. I ran back home. I ran a mile home. No stretching. Haven't ran in like a year. Since last October or November-ish. And like I ran home listening to Gore Trans 7. And like I was laughing because it felt so good. It sounds weird to say. Because most people don't like running, you know? But like I used to hate running a lot. And I was on like track and cross country in high school, but like right now, like I just haven't ran in a long time, and I was running and like in the rain, with my crappy hoodie on, not dressed for the occasion. I mean, I did have like gym shoes, uh, and whatnot, but like listening to Core Trance 7 in the rain, sprinting back home, like sprinting kind of running. I ran faster than I probably should have, but like not as fast as I used to be able to back when I was in shape. But like it felt so liberating. It felt so cathartic. That was kind of cool, but that's a random little thought.